Ballyhoo, my friend, the Passion Project continues. My name is Remedy Robinson, and this is an appreciation. This is an exploration of linguistics, language, and that's why a slow drag is such a good idea, as framed by the peerless poetry of the modern day master, Elvis Costello. Today's slow drag is with Stella Hurt from Momofuku, released in 2008. The songwriting is credited to Elvis Costello. The entire album might have been built on the conceit of instant, yet each piece has tremendous staying power. All this time later, Stella Hurt has only gained in approachability and inscrutability. It's layered and complicated, but with such likability. Contained within a jaunty and distorted tune, the lyrics detail an epic tale worthy of a fine feature film. Mr. Costello's word choice, metaphor, and word economy coils neatly around every word in this cinematic piece. You should wear your red galoshes, walking over the city pride. Streets are paved with heaven's pennies, gutters full of suicides. Set down in the most tenuous A-B pattern, this first verse provides vital baseline information regarding the story that's about to unfold. It suggests it's going to be a cautionary tale, even if it's merely a sweet reminder to not let your feet get wet. It's a showbiz parable, perhaps, about haves and have-nots and how close one is to the other, mere inches. The mention of the color red, not surprisingly, does have the potential to divert the Elvis Costello fan's mind to certain other shoes. But looking forward to the chorus, there will be a red alert, so maybe there's something more to it. In literature, there's a device known as Chekhov's gun, where something seemingly unimportant becomes significant later. Then again, there is also such a thing as a red herring. Galoshes and pennies, as touched upon above, make a very near rhyme, helped by the inflectional morphology at the end of each word. The British term wellies might complete the rhyme more overtly, but Mr. Costello belongs to the world now. His vocabulary has shifted. Galoshes is a funny-sounding word, but certainly not as funny or confusing had he used the British slang rubbers to begin the piece. Teddy steadily fell from grace somewhere near Arcadia. Once she overheard a voice she didn't hear on the radio. Alluding to the imagery of the gutter in the first verse, Teddy's steady fall is foreboding, to be sure. Arcadia, in addition to being a city near Los Angeles in Southern California, is also an Eden sort of place, a region or scene of simple pleasure and quiet. Did she fall once she heard a voice, meaning when she heard the voice, or overhearing a voice? If in fact she's near this utopia, it might suggest the silence has been broken. These are but two glimpses into the true meaning, if there is one. There are so many interpretations that keep this piece afloat. I'd be a fool to wade further into this literal and figurative statement. I just love how Arcadia and radio rhyme internally. Mr. Costello, you utter genius. Velvet gloves and country clubs were never going to hold her, ringing the necks of silly southern belles who wanted to scold her. The imagery of Teddy, if this verse is indeed about Teddy, continues to come into sharper focus. We know roughly where this person is from and what her seemingly enviable predicament might be. Released 2 years after The Delivery Man, of which the stellar Emmylou Harris was featured, this verse has always brought her to mind. Her, or perhaps Lucinda Williams, might have been the inspiration for this vignette, although my money would be on Emmylou. Don't bring me down, I'm trouble bound. Blues song, red alert. Who made Stella Hurt? And with this chorus, we come to why it is such a good idea to do a slow drag with Mr. Costello's work. It's Stella Hurt with a capital H, a pseudonym, much like Remedy Robinson or, say, Elvis Costello. So the question isn't who harmed Stella, although that cannot help but stay foremost in the listener's mind. The question is who created the performer, the persona of Stella Hurt. If you clocked this difference, then you're a better Elvis Costello fan than I am. Just kidding. No, you're not. But you are very observant, nevertheless. Again, we're met with the suggestion of a downward trajectory. The meaning of a blues song fascinates me. Blue as in sad, blue as in intellectual, blue as in smutty or off color. What a great way to describe blue, off color. Ah, words. Teddy soon dropped out of sight, turned up in another town, changed her name for the spotlight, singing like a bluebird in a sequin gown. Perhaps here's the evidence of when the stage name emerged, and it does seem as if it's Teddy who's been referenced throughout the piece so far. Even if it seems obvious, it's always a good idea to not assume anything with an Elvis Costello piece. What town do you think she turned up in? I'd guess Vegas, given her attire. But if an Elvis Costello piece feels too easy or obvious, then I must be doing something wrong. Here we have the use of the word blue again, a tactic many lesser poets might shy away from. A bluebird, they say, has a fairly low-pitched, warbling song made up of several phrases. Its song lasts about 2 seconds, the length of a certain fame, perhaps, the distance between the sidewalk and the gutter, perhaps. She finally fell and married well, but I knew it wouldn't last. Reversing back into the spotlight, no one ever saw her even half plastered. More downward imagery, more irony with its use. Marrying well isn't typically associated with falling, so boy, does it evoke quite a complicated picture. Again, Mr. Costello and his exquisite word economy. So here's my question. Here's my suspicion, if you will. Plastered. Let's assume in this instance means to be drunk. We might agree. If no one had ever seen her half plastered, it doesn't necessarily mean they've only seen her sober. Perhaps she's only been seen, well, plastered. Then she saw those soldier boys throw their bonnets in the air. Self-made men would pledge their fortunes and dream of her and dream of her. I've been a Mr. Costello fan for a very long time, yet it still staggers me how a word choice can make such an impact. In this instance, boys in bonnets, it at once gives an otherwise hard-nosed type story a wholesome feel, as it also serves as a reminder of how young military personnel could be and how women were to be used to boost morale. Generals in the commissary Opened up a case of wine, checked the perfume of the cork, said, made in 1929. They used her up to raise morale for money and old glory. Her voice was shot beyond repair, but this is not the last act of this story. More falling. From boys to men now, the dichotomy between the have and have nots continued to make themselves apparent. The story started so innocently with galoshes, then detailed the road to stardom and the duties one must face in order to stay out of the gutter, and now the reckoning, the price one pays for fame, perhaps, the inability to sing like the bluebird in a sequin gown. Nevertheless, redemption or infamy is soon to follow. The night is black as cracked shellac, abandoned in an attic. Stella is silent as the grave until the needle drags her through the static. Having learned from the other end of the telescope, or at least I did, that a shellac is basically what is now a vinyl record. The imagery of Stella's old albums, dusty and tucked away in an attic, lives on, regardless of the path it took Teddy to find her voice, only to ultimately lose it. The needle drags her. Yes, of course, this is in reference to her voice, with all the nostalgic skips and pops projecting from the stylus. But there were more clues. Silent as the grave. Dead? Well, that's not much of a simile, if so. Remember, her voice was used up. Or perhaps she just went back to her utopian Arcadia. Then there's always the possibility of drugs. She was never seen half plastered. All this conjecture is to say, Stella Hurt is more than a pop song. It's a memoir, a documentary. It's folklore, and as mentioned, a cautionary tale. Above all, it's just another good reason to dance a sexy slow drag with the incredible poetry of Mr. Costello. Don't bring me down. I'm trouble bound. Blues song, red alert. Who made Stella Hurt? Dig it. Again, this has been a slow drag with Stella Hurt from 2008's Momofuku. I feel as if I've broken my rule of simply admiring the words and not interpreting the piece, but Stella Hurt is just one of those rare pieces of literature, I suppose, that invites you into its world and encourages you to romp around in potential meanings just waiting to be explored. I'm certain there are many different ways you may have interpreted and or appreciated this piece. Nevertheless, the biggest revelation for me is how who made Stella Hurt is a much different question than I'd been thinking it was all these years now. As mentioned, Momofuku might have been an instant album, but much like the blistering Wendy James Now Ain't the Time for Your Tears, it's so much more than the sum of its parts. Other precious gems from Momofuku you'll enjoy a slow drag with are episode 7, Let's See How Brave You Are. That's a slow drag with no hiding place. Episode 35, A Song in My Heart. It's a slow drag with turpentine. Episode 48, Erase Everything Rotten. That's a slow drag with flutter and wow. Episode 70, Gunslinger Swagger. That's a slow drag with the absolutely fantastic Go Away. And episode 86, A Fine Fixation. That's a slow drag with Drum and Bone. And that's it for today's Slow Drag, my friend. Thank you for listening. I'll be back soon with another Slow Drag, so please follow the show on Spotify, Apple Music, or Amazon Music. It's all ad-free. The podcast is a passion project after all. So please follow the show wherever you listen so you won't miss an episode. And please spread the word about this little niche podcast to anyone you think might enjoy it as well. So you can find me on social media by searching for my name, Remedy Robinson, or the name of my podcast, Slow Drag with Remedy. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And thank you for listening to the end. I have big news, or at least fun news. I've finally settled, at least for now, on the final title of my second book. It is now called Congratulations Are in Order. It's based on a beleaguered acceptance letter I once received. So as I continue writing Congratulations Are in Order, I've placed the audiobook version of my first novel, The Most Terrible Time in My Life Ends Thursday, on YouTube. Please follow the link provided if you'd like to listen for free. And when you do, please go to Amazon, buy the Kindle or paperback version, and leave it a 5-star review. And as always, thank you for helping to get the word out about this little passion project. Truly, it means the world. So, until next time, adieu, my little ballyhoo. Slow Drag with Remedy.